Welcome back to FiIY with Fiona. So I'm coming at you from my parents' backyard. I'm in Toronto for a few weeks and I figured it'd be better to film outside in the backyard than in the basement, which is where I am quarantined right now, living the parasite life. Spoiler alert, that's what happens in the movie. So this week we're doing IKEA hacks. I had so much fun creating these hacks and I can't wait to show you. I'm always trying to come up with new ideas and DIYs to do. So if you guys have ideas on what you guys want to see, please comment below. Also, please like and subscribe. It would really help with my channel. And alright, here are the DIYs. I'm so stoked about this project. I love having houseplants and greenery in my home, and this is no exception. So we are turning the Vardoggen jar, a plain glass cookie jar, into a terrarium. So I had a terrarium while I was living in London and I loved it so much, but I had to leave it there when I moved back to LA. So I'm so stoked to create a terrarium again. So when you create a terrarium, you're basically creating this mini microclimate in your home. They're self-sustaining, really easy to take care of. So let's get started with this DIY. I'm using the tall Vardoggen cookie jar. There's a shorter and wider Vardoggen jar from IKEA and that will work well too. You'll need potting mix, charcoal, and some pebbles to start with. Take the lid off the jar. First we'll pour the pebbles into the jar. I poured around an inch of pebbles in there. The pebbles help as drainage for the water so the roots won't be sitting in water in the soil. Then pour in your activated charcoal. I just do a thin layer of charcoal over the gravel. The charcoal acts as a filter that pulls toxins and bacteria from the soil and water and deodorizes the terrarium. Charcoal is a must if you're doing an enclosed terrarium. Then I spoon in some potting mix. You'll need enough soil to cover the roots of the plants you'll put in next. Since the jar is so narrow, I'm just using two types of plants. When selecting your plants, make sure these plants enjoy high humidity environments. This plant is the Hypoestes. It comes in different colors and has really pretty dotted leaves. We'll just be separating the roots from the soil from the grow pot. My other plant is a spider plant. Do the same thing and separate the roots from the soil. Once all your plants are ready to go, dig little holes in the soil to put the roots of the plants in. When placing your plants, it may take a little finessing to get the roots covered up. I used my fingers like little shovels to cover up the roots. I placed my spider plant in first since it's shorter, and then I did the same thing with my Hypoestes. I put some of the white pebbles up top as decor to cover up the soil. You can also use moss, which does great in humid environments and works amazingly well as ground cover. Additionally, you can use larger pebbles as decor as well. Put on your lid and you're done. The terrarium is pretty much self-sustaining, but after a while, if you notice it is getting dry in there, you can put in 1 tablespoon of water. So I'm in desperate need of a step stool right now. I'm 5'3", so not the tallest person in the world, and I need help getting to the top shelf in my closet or my kitchen. And right now I've been taking my dining chair to my bedroom so I can get to my top shelves. So that hasn't been really helpful. So I've been looking for a step stool. Originally I wanted to get the IKEA Bekvem stool. I'll insert a picture here, but they aren't selling it in LA right now, so I don't know what the situation is, but I can't find it anywhere. So I decided to buy the Decor stool instead. It's not actually a step stool, but I needed the height, and it's pretty sturdy, so I figured I could use it as a step stool. So it's a pretty plain looking stool, and when I'm not using it to step on, I want it to look nice in my apartment when it's just sitting out in the open. So I decided to create this cool black and white weave texture at the base of the stool. I have some black and white rugs in my apartment, so I thought it would add to the texture and have a similar cohesive look to what I have in my apartment already. So you'll need a Noracre stool for this project and black and white macrame cord. I'll link all the supplies in the description below. I just followed the instructions that came with the stool and built it really easily. There weren't too many steps to assembling it. One more thing you'll need that doesn't come with the parts for the stool is a screwdriver. You'll be done assembling it in a jiffy. I already weaved one side of the stool already. I wanted to do a test run first, but we're essentially doing the exact same thing on both sides. We're using the two horizontal pieces connecting the legs as your loom. First, we're going to secure the beginning of our rope in place by tying a tight double knot. After that, we're going to create our warp, which are the stationary strands which we'll be weaving into, which provides tension for the weave. The way we'll be wrapping the cord onto the stool is take the cord to the opposite side and over the wood piece. Then wrap it around the wood twice before bringing it to the other side, wrapping it again twice more and bringing it back to the other side, and repeating these steps until the length of the wood piece is covered and you've created your warp. Since macrame cord isn't stretchy like yarn, I didn't make it too tight as there would be too much tension once you start weaving it through. So when you're creating your warp, make sure it's taut but not too tight. Once you're done wrapping, cut the end of the macrame. Then secure the end in place by doing a tight double knot again. Now we'll use our white macrame cord to create the weft, which will be perpendicular to the warp and pull through the warp with an under-over technique to create the weave. Pull the first strand tight through the warp. Then I used a yarn needle to help me pull the rest of the cord through. The yarn needle will help you pull the cord through once it starts getting tight. To create a weave pattern, the next cord needs to be pulled through the opposite strands than you did before. So if the strand was under the warp, then this strand needs to be over the warp. And just keep following this over and under pattern back and forth until you reach the end of your warp. As you continue along your weaving, the tension will get tighter and tighter, so it'll just take a bit of patience to pull your cord through. Give the loose strands a trim and you're done! I like these hooks from a Scandinavian company called Muto, and they create this product called Dots, and they come in different sizes and colors, and they add so much visual interest to the space, and they're so fun looking. So IKEA has this product called Lost John, and I thought it would be perfect to recreate the Muto Dots. So of course you'll need your Lost John hangers. This is a super easy hack. We'll be elevating these hangers with some more sophisticated neutral colors. I'm using a latte color, a light brown, and a matte black spray paint. With this set of hangers, you have 2 large and 3 small. Decide which colors you want for which hanger. Then go ahead and spray the hangers. I ended up with 1 large hanger in caramel latte, a large and small hanger in matte black, and 2 small hangers in the color brown boots. The plastic doesn't hold the spray paint very well since it's such a smooth surface, so make sure to do several layers until the hangers are coated evenly. Sorry, my camera didn't focus, but on the back of the hangers there's double-sided tape to stick the hangers onto the wall. Arrange the hangers however you like on the wall. They're meant to be fun and scattered looking, so feel free to put them at different heights. Once they're arranged on your wall, you're done with a simple IKEA hack. I saved my favorite project for last. I saw online this cool 3D illusion word mat, and I wanted to recreate it with IKEA's trampa mat. You know, sometimes when you're creating things, you're kind of skeptical the whole time when you're doing it until the very end, and then you're like, wow, this looks dope. This is what happened with this project. The 3D words look so cool, and from certain angles, it really looks like it's popping out from the mat. You'll need a trampa mat, which is just a super simple plain entry mat. You'll also need thin paper. I had tracing paper I used, a Sharpie, black acrylic paint, and a paintbrush. Use any writing software on your computer like Word Doc or Pages on Macs. You can write whatever words you want on your mat. I'm just going to go with a simple hello. So first we'll need an H. You'll need to find a font online or on your computer that has a 3D shadow design that you can trace. I'm using Gill Sans Nova Shadowed as the font, which I think came with my computer, but I'll link a font I found from dafont.com that you can download for free in the description below. So type in the letter you need and then enlarge the size to fit your screen. Then I rotated it so it'll fit the screen horizontally so I'd get the largest size possible. Feel free to zoom in so you can get your letters to the size you want. Then get your piece of paper and lay it over your computer screen. If your paper isn't as thin as mine, try upping the brightness of your screen and it'll help the letters show through the paper a bit better. So then go ahead and trace the shadow of the letter, which is the black portion of the font. When you're done with the first letter, change the letter to your next letter and repeat the same steps. Trace all the letters you need for your word. Next, we'll cut the shadows out. Don't cut the shadows within the same letter into separate pieces though. You want to keep them intact so we can trace the letters onto our mat. You may have noticed I only traced out one L, even though I needed two L's for my hello. The screen is kind of difficult to trace on, so if you have repeat letters in your word, just trace one of the letters, and then when you cut the letter out, you can trace it again easily on a flat surface. Lay out your letters on your mat. Then trace out your letters onto your mat and use a Sharpie to outline it. Be careful when you're tracing to only trace where the shadow would be. For any area that needs to get connected, you can just take the paper off and draw it in by connecting the corners. Repeat these steps for all the letters. The O was a bit more complicated, so I just traced the edge of the O shadow first so I could align the paper back to where it was after I cut it. So cut the tracing completely out and then place it back to where it was previously using the lines you drew earlier as your guide, and then trace the shadows completely. So this is what the trace shadow looks like. Like I mentioned before, I was skeptical about this turning out, but it's gonna come together. So time to fill in your shadow with black acrylic paint. Since you have your lines drawn already, it's literally just coloring within the lines. I found that dabbing the paint into the mat works best. As we start to fill in the shadows, that's when the letters start to take form and the 3D effect comes out. Yes! You can already see the 3D illusion effect taking shape. I love how this project turned out and can't wait to have it greet my guests when they come visit. Thank you so much for watching these IKEA hacks. I hope you guys enjoyed it and that you guys will create some of these hacks yourself. Please comment below if you do. If you guys want to stay notified on when my videos are coming out, please subscribe and turn on the notification button. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!